Welcome to Silver Linings Talk Show, our April 2024 show. And today we are so excited to have Marilyn Dayton, who has had quite a full life, from owning her own ad and marketing firm, to coaching, to TV and video shows, to an author and writer, and so many fabulous tidbits in between that we will be discussing today. I don't want to divulge too much because we are going to have a fabulous conversation. Welcome to our show today, Marilyn.
Yes. Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
And
back on TV.
We are thrilled to have you today, and let's kind of jump right in because there's so much wonderfulness to talk about. Right. So starting with, we would love to just first kind of begin that your life has evolved in so many different ways through the years, and let's talk about kind of where that journey began for you.
Well, of course it began when I was born, but, and that was almost 80 years ago, people. I'm turning 80 years old this year, and I'm busier than ever, which is a wonderful thing. Yeah. I know your previous guest, Pat, who was your show in March, she mentioned something about people sometimes get a little stagnant. People who retire, I officially retired when I was 73, 7 years ago. Didn't last very long, and got busy again, which we'll talk about in a bit. But the most exciting part of my life started when I was 9 years old, actually 8.5. And my father got offered a job for 2 summers down in Tennessee to teach guitar at a studio and teach music theory. And one of his young students was a young man you will recognize by the name of Elvis Presley. Wow. And Elvis and I became friends over those 2 summers. He's such a sweetheart, such a sweet guy, very quiet and very lonely. I almost ruined his career. He started treating me like a little sister. We'd play cards and talk. He'd come early, and then he'd go in and see my father, and then come back out, give me a hug and a kiss and leave. And one time he came in and he had his guitar slung over his shoulder as usual. And he said, I am so excited, I want to show you something. I mean, it's like, it's going to set me apart from anybody else, and it's because I have to move all the time, it's going to help me with that. And I said, okay, show me. And so he started singing a song, and he started strumming his guitar and moving his legs and his hips and his feet. And it was like, I looked at him and I went, oh my God, that's so funny. And I fell off the chair laughing. And he stopped right in the middle of it and looked at me. And by this time we were such good friends, he thought, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this. And I said, oh no, I'm 9 years old. Okay, what do I know? I'm nobody, I'm just a kid. Ask my dad, talk to him about it. And of course my dad said, you do whatever you want to do. If you feel you have to move, keep moving. And so, thank heavens he listened to my father and not me.
Because that became like his trademark.
Yes, of course.
It did, it really did. He just was moving all the time. But he was very shy and very quiet and very lonely inside. And sure that followed him his whole life through.
I'm sure that friendship definitely made an impact on the beginning of your life.
Exactly. I was always this friendly kid who people told me was an old soul. And so I was a good listener, and I could keep secrets. You know, those are very important when you're a friend to people. The next time that got very exciting for me was when I was 12 years old. When I was 12 years old, my school entered me in the statewide gifted and talented program, and out of that I became a radio quiz kid. And I ended up winning. I just knew stuff. I could keep remembering stuff. So I ended up in New York City at some kind of a ceremony, and a lot of big shots were there, and I was talking to a lot of people. And I always appeared older than I was, and I was more mature. And this gentleman came up to me and he said, "Have you ever done a radio show?" And I said, "No, but it sounds fun. And so I started a radio show in New York City. And it was connected with Dick Clark's American Bandstand. I would have someone on my show who, remember how Dick Clark used to always be on the phone with somebody? Well, he was on the phone with them at my show a lot of the time.
Oh, very
And Dick Clark and I got to know each other very well, and he became my mentor throughout my life. And wonderful, wonderful guy. I was so blessed to know him. But then something else happened. They kept taking promotional shows, pictures, and I looked really good on camera, and so another gentleman approached me about modeling.
Yeah.
He said, I know you're a moving, talking kid all the time, but can you stay still? I said, on occasion, when I have to. So it kind of chokes me up when I remember this, because people think it's such an amazing career to have. I had it for 5 years, and I became one of the top 5 models in the world. And on the left is me, a painting of me when I was 17 years old. I was quitting modeling. I wanted to go to college. The one in the middle, I was early 40s, and the one on the right-hand side, I was early 50s. I didn't really change much. It's interesting. I looked mature and the same all through the years, well, till now. What
I don't think you look much different.
I don't look my age yet. And as I've told other people, when you have chubby cheeks, you don't get as many wrinkles.
Oh, that's so cute.
But that was the start of good things and bad things.
Oh, for sure. There's never all good, is there?
No, I made a lot of money, and my parents handled it. And this is the way they handled it. They sent my brother to college. They bought our house. They bought a second car, and gave money away to relatives that they felt needed it. Unfortunately, by the time it was my turn to go to college, there wasn't any left. And it was like, wait a minute, what about me? I'm the one that worked so hard. I mean, that was hard work.
Right.
And so I had to find a way to go to college. Boy, I'm talking fast here. And so I contacted Dick Clark, who was my mentor, and he made some arrangements, called some people, and I got a scholarship and went to Syracuse University. And the rest of my life emerged from that.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
So we are seeing a photo, and this happens to be your talk show you created.
Yes.
Can you talk about that?
I mean, now that we're
what
on a
is
talk show,
inspired
Might
you?
as well. Well, here's the
Yes.
thing. All my life, I enjoyed helping other people, starting with Elvis, being a good listener and a good friend. And people need someone to be supportive and helpful. And so I decided, I kind of missed radio and TV. I was doing a lot of marketing and business consulting. And I said, I'm going to do a TV show. And so for 3 years, I did my show from this corner TV. And I helped people by having entrepreneurs and business people and nonprofits come on my show and talk. And it was an hour show. And so we did a lot of talking. And it was a great show. I had people come from New York City, from Boston, to be on my show, as well as a lot of local people. And I just loved it. I did 2 shows a month, and that's a lot of shows in 3 years.
That is.
And I love the fact, the common bond that we have is bringing to light the positivity that others bring to the world, right?
Absolutely.
And that is awesome. I love that you did that for quite a few years after, many years in the advertising business. And I know you mentioned, that briefly.
Well, I was doing a lot of marketing and consulting here in Connecticut. I had an ad agency in Rochester, New York for many years. Then I went down and ran one in Atlanta, Georgia for multimedia, which was a huge conglomeration. And when they sold that, I didn't like the new owners. And I said, okay, I'm done. And then I kind of concentrated on my kids and my grandkids for a while, made a lot of quilts, and kept busy. And when I moved here to Connecticut, I started in real estate just to get to know the area and get to know people, and get comfortable with the state. My daughter and family live here, which is why I came. And it's just a wonderful state. I love being here, and I love these TV shows. I love these opportunities. Yes. I signed the petition to keep these studios going, these public TV studios going. I think they serve a great purpose.
They do.
Awesome.
They do.
So in all of what you've just said, when we were chatting recently, you came up with a very profound statement that I think speaks volumes, and that is, I lost me, I found me. And you just kind of covered a little bit of that, but can you tell us how this kind of relates to you and where you found true meaning in this statement?
Okay, throughout our lives we evolve and change because our experiences change. The people we know, the things we do change us. And so we're always constantly evolving and we're never finished, okay, until the end. So many times in my life I have lost myself and found myself. 3 of those times were in marriages. So many of us women tend to bend more towards what he wants than what we want. And when you become a mother, it's what they want rather than what we want. We kind of lose ourselves. And I have reinvented myself many times, many times. And that's a good thing.
It is.
You know, because we do change and evolve. We're not the same people. I'm not the same person that Elvis knew, which is why I never could go and see him in concert, and I could never go backstage and see him. He'd remember me, I know that. But he wasn't the same person, so it wouldn't have been the same thing.
Sounds like you wanted to remember him as you remember
as
him.
I knew him, a
Yes.
sweet, sweet boy. Yeah, he was. He made a huge difference in my young life, and I know I made a huge difference in his. Actually, I even write about that. You know, we're all encouraged to write memoirs. Here's a book called Reflexology. Reflections. Reflexology is a good thing, but Reflections. This came out of my blog, From Glam to Gram, which is kind of who I am.
Yeah.
And I talk about Elvis in that book and kind of go into a lot more detail. And I also talk about when I died, when my son was born, and then I came back because he cried and brought me back. I mean, there's so many things that happen in our lives. I mean, I've lived almost 80 years now. In December, I'll celebrate 80 full years. And I could only capture a little bit of that in this book. But it was very therapeutic to write about. It really was.
And then we have your photo up of your blog.
Oh yes, From Glam to Gram, and that's me on the right. One of my many, you know, Max Factor, Q-Tex, all of those makeups and dresses, Nina Ricci gowns. I wore them all, and it was an adventure.
Yeah.
You know, that changed me too.
Yeah.
Can you share maybe a few messages or about this that you would want to bring to light about this specific
One of the
blog?
lessons I learned when I was a model was they do have very young girls doing modeling. And we're not ready. It's a different world. It's a world that changes you in many ways. So many girls and young men don't have the guidance, and they don't want to listen anyway because we know it all, you know, when we're young. But I'll tell you something, that work is so hard, and because I was mature, I survived it, 5 years of it. But a lot of these young people don't, because they are told that they are the person that is in the pictures. They don't really know who they are yet. And so you have all of these pseudo people that you think you are. I've got a picture of me standing in the Louvre in front of a stained glass window with a Nina Ricci gown on. And with makeup, I looked like the actress Angie Dickinson, which was the whole idea at the time. And I remember standing there with hot, hot lights and sweating, and I wasn't supposed to sweat. Don't sweat. And, you know, look serious and then just start a hint of a smile. You couldn't have zits. And when you're a teenager, you know, you have a tendency to that. And so I got all the tips and techniques about washing my face with baby shampoo and then drying it and then having ice cubes in a sink with water, and then you put your face in it and hold your breath, of course, and that closes all your pores so you don't get zits from makeup. It's something I still do today. It's weird.
And hence why your skin also
Yeah.
looks fabulous.
Maybe, right?
Right.
I love that trick.
I did
Tip,
have
but I mean,
I did have someone approach me when I had my ad agency in Rochester, New York. My daughter was a cute little thing. She's a beautiful girl now. And I had someone approach me and said, really like to use her as a model. And I said, I'll talk to her, but the answer's going to be no. I'm not going to put her through that.
It's a
Yeah.
tough world
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how or what do you attribute towards all your successes and all the variety of experiences that you've had in your life?
So far, okay, I'm not done. But it all started when I had kind of a tough growing up because my dad adored me, but my mother didn't. My mother adored my brother. And so I had to toughen up. I had to be a tough kid, so to speak. And I guess, you know, I matured a lot because of that. And I just knew I had to be in charge of my own surviving. And so I have. And I've survived a lot. Abusive husband who ran away with all of the ad agency money after I kicked him out and ruined me. Didn't ruin me, ruin my profession at the time because I had to sell the rights to the agency and get a job. It was, you know, all of these things, all of the experiences that you have in life toughen you up. They really do. They should. A lot of people, they wallow in the pain and hang on to it. And I have since learned, I went to a retreat, met some wonderful people, and they made us look inside ourselves and see how our past can sometimes guide us in negative ways through our life. And I had to let go of the hate that I felt for my mother, which I didn't know was still there. I was hanging on to it, I guess, as a support for who I was. Well, it was a bad support, so I kicked that leg aside and moved on. And yeah, don't hang on to past. Just, you know, pull up your bootstraps and keep going and do better each time.
And not everybody can do that.
No,
You know, not everyone is able to overcome time and time again.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes strength, perseverance,
Yeah.
and the willingness to let go, for sure. I mean, and
Yeah.
and time sometimes.
And belief in self.
That's important, okay? When I decided, I was getting tired at 73. I was just working, you know, basically 2 jobs. I had my TV show, which I spent a lot of times preparing for because I was filming it every 2 weeks. And I had my marketing and business consulting company going on. And so I got kind of tired. And I said, you know what? I need a rest. And the only way I would get a rest if I said, I'm going to retire. Okay, I hear that phrase a lot and never related to it before, but I tried it. Okay, it didn't last long. I got what our previous guest, a word that our previous guest used, which was stagnant. I was reading a bunch of books and saying, I can write that, geez. And
That's where we were
and I've got
going
an
next,
imagination, or we're gonna go into my books. I've got a huge imagination and creativity, huge creativity. My life has always been creative writing and graphic arts. So I put those 2 together with my imagination and came up with books. I'm now working on 11, 12, and 13. Most of them are murder mysteries, which people love. And I decided I want to get a break from fiction because it gives you a headache a little bit when you're writing it. You need to relax. So, and I love trivia. My family loves trivia. We share that. And so I'm writing 2 books on trivia. That's number 12 on the left and number 13 on the right.
And then we have your murder mysteries as well.
Yes, we have some short stories that I've written through the years. This book, The Hollow Soul, is not a murder mystery, but it's the best thing I've ever written and ever could hope to write. And it's about a man caught between 2 worlds. And one of the worlds is the Native American world, and the other world is white man's politics. He was a product of a Native American woman and a white man. And so he got involved in politics and lost his path, so to speak, and his soul became kind of hollow. So this is.
We have a nice close-up right now of your poster.
Yeah, there's some of these are a murder mystery series of 5 about 70-ish women who live together in a nursing home and are just fun and feisty and crazy, and they solve crimes, led by Weezy Hightower, who's a retired PI. And out of that came the Guy Davis series, which Guy Davis is the retired security guy at the nursing home. And he's got a past as a NYPD detective and profiler. And so I said, he's got stories to tell. So his first book came out recently, A Matter of Time. People love it, which I'm glad. You know, that's the whole reason I write them. And this is one of the Hightower mysteries. This one's my favorite so far. And The Faces of Murder. It takes place on a train in the middle of nowhere where 3 people are killed on the train. And Weezy comes on and helps solve it.
Well, Weezy sounds like an amazing character. It sounds like you're really having fun with the book writing, but that's not the only way you're supporting people through enjoyment in fiction and reading.
That's true. I've got a video series that I'm putting together. They're short videos. It's going to be under the name of Take a Minute with M. And it's specifically for anybody that wants to write a book or anybody that wants to write an article or anything like that. Right now I'm learning how to do the video, all the technical parts of it. And I'm going to do it in my own home, and it's going to be free, and it's going to be over probably 2 years. I've got just so many ideas. And I've had so many people come to the website already and say, where are the videos? They sent me these. I'm not done yet, I'm learning. But hang in there by April, like now. They should be pretty much running.
I love the fact that what came out of your mouth was, hang in there, be patient, I'm learning. Because we all can still learn. There doesn't need to be a block that says, oh, never once have you said, I'm too old for that. Never once out of your mouth it's like, no, that's too hard, it's too difficult. You are open and willing to take the next step. And that kind of bravery is so inspiring.
So many people retire and die, you know, which is a horrible thing, but it's the truth. Or so many people retire from a business and then they consult, which is good. They're doing what I've done.
Yes.
But I'm constantly learning. And here's something I want to leave our viewers to remember. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to say on my video is, don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Yeah. Okay? I've had my mother all my life said, oh, you can't do that. You know, but you can do that. And I made a mistake once. And that taught me a lesson. It was about a year ago. I met the actor Mark Ruffalo, who was like my favorite actor. And so I was standing there hugging him and talking to him, and I gave him The Hollow Soul, which is this one. And he says, oh, that's wonderful. How do you do that? I want to do that. Okay, here's the lesson I learned. I mean, I love the guy. Okay, he'd hug me and kissed me, and And I'm like, yeah, I know, and it's okay. And I said, well, you are so good at what you do. Don't stop. Duh. What I should have said was, you can write. Everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody in this room and outside in the engineering part, they all have stories to tell. Yeah. They could write a story. Write a story if you've got a story to tell. Or if you've got a lot of them, write them. And if you say, well, it's too hard, start. Just start making notes and keep them in a file. Don't throw anything away. Mm-hmm. That's going to be my second or third video. Don't throw it away. I'm going to have a wastebasket full of crumpled up papers that, you know, throwaways. Don't throw them away. Smooth them out. Put them in a folder. Because you never know one day, hey, that was a good idea after all. Mm-hmm. You don't want to lose it, because you will. If you don't use it, you'll lose it.
And I love the whole concept of evolving and recreating yourself after retirement, because so often people also may feel lost after they retire and they are no longer doing a career, they no longer have this identity. And I just think it's a wonderful message also that you're sending, is that you can recreate, you can evolve at any point in time of your life, and retirement doesn't mean it's over.
Right.
It could mean it's a whole new beginning.
So
Exactly,
that being
yes.
said, do you have any final words of wisdom for our audience, and you know, also to let's inform people of how
they can
how
reach
they
out
could
to you.
reach out to you and continue to be inspired?
You can go to my website, and there's an email address there. It's based on my name, Marilyn Dayton, MAREDAYT@yahoo.com. I've got many websites and many emails, but that's the one I use the most. And find out who you are. Look in the mirror. Talk to yourself. Who am I? What do I want to do? Am I not doing that? That's got to change. Be who you are.
And I think also like what your soul.
Oh, whatever's in your heart and soul. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes your brain fights your heart and soul. Mm-hmm. Stop that. Okay.
Yes.
Because your brain can follow. You can make it happen.
Yes. Well, this has been such a wonderful conversation, and we knew it was going to be.
And I am just looking forward to what's next.
I know.
From Marilyn
Oh,
Dayton,
yeah.
because
I'm not done.
we know there's more.
Yes.
6 more books anyway, that's for sure.
And books come in this like adorable little bag.
That's my
I
bag
love
of books. I give away books to a lot of people.
And we are privileged to have received some books from Marilyn today, and thank you for that.
Thank
I
you
hope you
so much
enjoyed
for.
it.
Yes.
We are so excited. I know the last time I ran into you, you had given me some, and my husband started reading them, and he's
Oh, I'd forgotten
enjoying
I gave
them.
you some. Now
That's
you can.
okay.
Now you've got more to share.
I'm excited.
Yes. So thank you for being here on Silver Linings Talk Show with us today.
Oh, it was a pleasure.
Thank
A huge pleasure. And it was great to be with you, and it was great to be with you too. Thank you for watching us.
Yes.